Hi, welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Finding myself 36 female in an awkward situation in my marriage. I've been married to my husband 38 male for 5 years and we have 3 kids. We're happily married. He's very loving and caring to me and the kids, no doubts there. He's a great dad and husband. Problem is now and then he wets the bed at night. When it first happened, I didn't even know how to react. I felt embarrassed to talk about it with him. The next morning he took out the sheets and cleaned everything up. Then it continued to happen. Sometimes once a week, sometimes every other week. And I've been understanding and empathetic for the most part, hoping this phase of his would come to pass. Background. He lost his full-time job 18 months ago and has been between jobs since. So he does Uber now and then while learning to become a realtor. Well, for almost 2 years now, I've been the main breadwinner and we live in a high-cost county. Not sure if this is the reason for the blowout bedwetting, but recently, he wet the bed again and I blew out on him that night, screaming at the top of my voice and told him he should never sleep on this bed again with me unless he solves this issue. Next day, he was back to himself again. Very kind and caring, and since then, he sleeps in the guest room. I'm so confused. Am I the bonehead? Has anyone been in a similar situation? What should I do? I love my husband so dearly and would die for him. Now for some comments. You're the bonehead. Your husband is obviously going through something, whether emotional or medical, and rather than offer support, you went after him. I get it. P isn't pleasant, but neither is a spouse who makes you feel even worse when you are at a low point. You say you'd die for him. Why not try to help him first? He needs to go see a urologist. There are medications that can help. He's likely very, very embarrassed. You're 1000% the bonehead. Bedwetting is not something people can control unless you're into some sort of kink. If he's wetting in his sleep, there's a medical problem. Whether that's a physical or mental health issue would be for a doctor to sort out. Let's see. He lost his job, money is tight, you all live in a high-cost area, he's trying to start a new career. Do you think he might be under a little stress? I get that it's not fun for you. However, yelling at the man is not going to make it better. Why not be the supportive spouse who has a calm discussion about how to work together towards a solution? My wife passed away suddenly after giving birth to our daughter 5 years ago. My parents and sisters have spent the last 4 years telling me to move on. I can't. You know how amputees get phantom pain in their missing limbs? It's like that. Except it's everything that's missing. I took my daughter to a street performers festival in my city and my heart ached because I went to buy some kettle corn. I hate kettle corn. My wife loved it. I was buying something I hate for someone who isn't there. My mother did the cruelest thing I can imagine. She told my daughter that she should ask for a new mommy for her birthday. I wasn't polite in dealing with that. I told her that if she or my sisters ever try to bring a woman into my life, I would leave the city with my daughter and they would never see us again. Now all 3 of my sisters and my father have called me to yell at me for threatening my mother and them. They say that they're only trying to help and that I'm a bonehead for not accepting the inevitable. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. Excuse me, the inevitable? So you're just supposed to get over it and be fine? Grief doesn't work that way. My darling's been dead for 5 years and it's every bit as awful as it was. What your family is doing is simply awful. I had friends do that and I blocked every single one. Your grief is your own and there is no timetable. I'm so sorry you lost your love. Please take care. Not the bonehead. The fact that they try to use your daughter to manipulate you is awful. Not the bonehead. Tell them it's not a threat. It's a promise. If you mess around with my family dynamic between me and my daughter, you'll find out just how serious I am. I'm perfectly comfortable cutting off toxic relationships that hinder my mental health and might mess with my daughter's emotional state. Trust me on this. I'm not ready to move on. I might never be. And if you can't respect that, then I don't trust you to respect anything about my family unit and maybe moving away would be best for us. Because frankly, I seem to be the only one actually considering our mental health and not just how it should be or how it should look. If you cared a crap about me and my daughter, you'd listen to me, not try to fix something I don't want you to touch. This happened a couple of months ago, but I discovered this sub. Now I'm wondering. My younger brother was applying to college this past admissions cycle. He applied exclusively to top schools, Ivies, Stanford, MIT, CMU, etc. His safety was Berkeley because he felt confident he'd get into a top school due to being valedictorian and winning a few debate competitions. My parents asked me to help his application because I got into a few of those schools last year. I don't think that makes me an expert, but from getting in and meeting lots of others that did too, all I can say is, it's completely random. I've met Olympians, kids who've published full-length novels, kids who run successful companies. I've also met kids who have essentially good grades and normal extracurricular activities. So essentially, there's no formula to guarantee that you'll get in. And it's always common sense to apply to actual safeties. I told him this, but he laughed this off and said, unlike me, his application's good enough not to need to apply to safeties. I said, fine, his funeral. He ended up getting rejected by every college he applied to, had to scramble to apply to colleges with rolling admissions dates, and ended up having to go to community college for 2 years. I heard this when I came home to visit during summer break. Given the context of him being so arrogant about his application and denigrating mine, I found it incredibly funny. So I started laughing about it. He got angry and called me a bonehead for laughing at him instead of being supportive. I honestly think he had it coming. Am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. For the record, there's nothing wrong with community college, but my thing is he was perfectly fine insulting you when you were trying to help and gave sound advice. Not the bonehead. You had every right to say, I told you so. Dude, you needed an ego check. Not the bonehead. Your brother sounds very arrogant and cocky. I feel like this might have been his wake-up call. Community college is still great too, though. Not the bonehead. He was expecting to go to Harvard, and he's going to Podunk Community College. He shouldn't have been arrogant about it, and you shouldn't be laughing at his misery. I turned 25 yesterday. The most disappointing birthday I've ever had. I didn't make any plans for the actual day because it's a Wednesday, but planned to throw a party at my house with my friends and family this Saturday. For the actual day, I still went to work and everything was normal, but I wanted something simple, so I asked my family, mom, dad, and brother, the night before to go out to dinner with me at a nice restaurant I've been wanting to try. I confirmed a time that would work for everyone and made the reservation for 7:30 p.m. My dad called to wish me a happy birthday and tried to convince me to go to my cousin's house, who happened to be throwing a barbecue of some sort. I said I'd rather not because I really wanted to try this restaurant and just wanted to celebrate with them. It'll feel really weird for me going to a party of some sort when it happens to be my birthday, and the attention I'd get would not be genuine because nobody at the barbecue realized it was my birthday. My dad says, okay, no problem. This was a nice restaurant that are very strict with reservations, so I looked really nice and arrived right on time. My mom, who has not acknowledged it was my birthday, calls me and says her and my dad are still at the house and need to shower and get ready. But my brother is on the way to meet me there, so we should order appetizers. 5 minutes later, my brother calls me and tells me he's going to be late as well, that he's also at the house and I should get the table myself. Now, I know this restaurant was not going to seat me without my whole party, and after a certain time, they'd give the table away. I couldn't take it anymore, so I hung up on my brother, parked at a building nearby, and cried. I was so upset I declined all his and my mom's calls. At 8 p.m., 30 minutes after the reservation, my family pull up behind my car so I can't back out and surrounds my car. I'm in shock because I purposely parked at a random building, but forgot my brother has my location on Find My Friends. So they surround the car and start talking about what a long day everyone has had and how I should come with them to find a restaurant that will take us. I tell them I've been crying, mascara running all down my face, and do not want to be out in public or with them. My dad says I don't look upset, and my mom keeps telling me to calm down. They were not understanding that this wasn't a haha okay I'm overreacting situation, so I had to basically yell at them that it was too late and to leave me alone. They left and went to my cousin's house. I got Whataburger on my way home and ate it by myself. I was still so upset I barely slept and texted the family group chat they ruined my birthday and I didn't want them coming to my party Saturday. I'm still so upset this morning. Am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead, they were incredibly rude and thoughtless. You asked very little of them, a nice family dinner at a restaurant you were really looking forward to trying. and they treated you like an afterthought, made you lose your reservation, and then didn't even care enough to be apologetic after ruining the only thing you wanted for your birthday. I would have been so hurt if I were you. I'm so sorry they did that. Not the bonehead. It was very rude of them to brush off your emotions like that. The fact is, they really wanted to go to the cousin's barbecue instead of your birthday dinner, so that's why they tried to get you to go with them. It's also very worrisome to me that a 25-year-old woman's brother, or any family member, has a locator for her on his phone. They'd like to keep tabs on you for some bizarre reason, and you need to put a stop to it. Everyone sucks here. Sure, your family shouldn't have been late. That's rude, but you did not have an adult reaction. You made the reservation only the night before, so they had to adjust their plans on very short notice. When they can't make it on time, you don't check with the restaurant if they can hold the table. You withdraw somewhere to cry. When your family shows up, you have to be even more dramatic about it, pointing out the fact that you've been crying. And then, instead of salvaging the evening, you throw a giant temper tantrum. I mean, it's your birthday and you can cry if you want to and all that, but I think you need to seriously have a think about how you deal with inconveniences in life so you don't fall into pieces every time things don't go your way. Because this was a lot. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like these stories, please consider subscribing. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. Bye for now.